You're listening to Well, I Laughed, Part 1 of Wild Women, Tit for Tat. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Did you miss me? Tell the truth. Okay, great. So as she thinks about that, I'm Grant, and you missed me because it's been actually a week for
and
you guys.
Not 24 hours.
Oh, whole studio's falling apart around us right now.
Not as bad as it used to. Remember when the panels would fall down?
And scare the crap out of us?
Yeah.
Yes.
When they would fall inward, it was the worst.
You did that fun little story off air yesterday. We had to double record because of how crazy summer gets. But you mentioned in our early days, that first year and a half, where you and I hauled soundproofing panels up and down your townhome steps.
Slippery steps.
Slippery, beautifully polished wood with gaps. And you would then get to go upstairs and make a hairpin turn to try to bring them into some closet.
Yeah.
And it's just funny how quickly we forget inconvenience.
Yeah, because now whenever I have to set up the studio, I'm like, oh, I have to set up the studio. And it's like turning on two lights.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
God damn, that's so annoying.
You're the light bars. We just have to unlatch. They come down at 90 degrees, and then we latch them back in.
Yeah, and that's it. That's literally it.
That's so nice.
Oh, speaking of which, will you plug in that light?
Oh, yeah, sure.
That one back there. While Grant does that, we're still in the timeline where the Patagonia is really.
I would do it natural but my neck is still super stiff.
It's also not a natural angle, so don't blame you. So Grant and I have just been gabbing about that, but I'm sure, I don't know. There's nothing new to say, I feel like, since literally last night. I just have rage in my body that I don't know where to put it.
I feel upset that my community feels like it's being taken for a ride.
Yeah.
And also upset that this discourse largely benefits no one, but does manage to hurt the environment. Because at the end of the day,
this is all money being taken away from.
Correct.
That could be spent.
Two different environmental advocates are losing the ability, whatever. I am actually in a moment right now, though, where between our own little side conversations, research for tonight's story, and the start of my classes over the summer where I'm now reading a lot of history.
I got the craziest text from Grant at 11 p.m. last night. I saw it come through and did that thing where I half read it and I went, it's too late for me to comprehend what's happening here.
After I sent that to you, I remembered how I had left you, and I had to be like, oh no, Maya.
Undo. So I saw 3 long words and went, continued my doom scroll.
But it's 3 very different realms of study, and especially in my classes, they're really encouraging synthesizing information together to make meaning from disparate parts, and that's good. That's what I'm paying tuition for.
Yeah.
But it means I'm driving around and things are just hitting each other. Much like I assume one of those little molecule lasers they built in Switzerland. Not sure if it was going to end the world or not. Do you remember that? An accelerator thing. You know what I'm talking about, right?
The thing that made the Flash and the Flash.
You know what I'm talking about.
Critically acclaimed Flash.
Superboard. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about.
I think Casey would know a lot more about what you're talking about, but I understand the ideas. I think they were trying to create a black hole or something. I don't know.
You won't say it because he's your husband, so I'll say it.
Yeah, thank you.
Casey's job is legitimately very impressive.
Yeah.
And you have a smart cookie on your hands and a good man, Savannah.
Good man.
And he was showing me a little video clip of something that they had been working on for weeks. And it involved the shooting of a laser. But I'm much more of a humanitarian person. And so I saw that video and I go, oh, is it your job to turn on the flashlight? And he didn't talk to me the rest of the night.
Every time I feel like the proud aunt whenever Casey, because I know Casey wants to talk about his job, and I just feel like when we start the conversation of jobs, I have to preface whoever we're talking to that Casey really loves his job. So if you want to get into it, he's all in, but don't feel like you have to. And Casey is usually fine with that because he also knows he can talk just about his job. He was like, is my entire personality becoming my job? And I was like, well, Like a little, but
Yeah.
you enjoy it, so I'm not worried about it.
My favorite quote in the entire world really is from Brene Brown.
Mm-hmm.
She's never met a wholehearted person who was unhappy at work.
Exactly. And so I'm fine about that. He was just like, I just feel like I don't have any, I feel like I'm becoming one-dimensional. And I was like, just talk about your lasers, sweetie. But we'll talk, and I'll be like, show them that thing that you took.
Friends, look. No, show them, babe. Yeah, you gotta look real quick.
yeah.
She's been working on this. We're ready.
Yeah, it was me with the slideshow at
At the cookout, yeah.
I don't even know how to describe that. So,
So important. So important. Sorry. I have lost the thread of what I was going to say about Casey. And that's what I was going to say. This is how you can tell he's approaching his 30s.
yeah.
He's like, am I anything other than the work that I have let consume me? Maybe. Maybe not.
That's fine.
Yeah, it really is.
You're
you know?
literally hurting no one.
I kind of want to say this. This is to my people who are like passionate about their work out there, like I am. And I know I just went on summer break, but you get it.
Literally, screw you.
I worked today. I like helped a kid write some jokes and a great little anecdote here. And it's like,
Okay.
oh, fuck, I have 2 great little anecdotes. It's kind of 3. I forgot how much stuff I wrote down in that hour-long car ride I had over here. If all you have to really talk about passionately is your work, that is one more thing than like 49% of the population.
True.
Yeah.
You could also hate your job, you know?
Okay, we're just going to go ahead and hard pivot to what I
have.
wanted to tell you about. Went in today to work with some of our students who are going off to nationals. So we most of them are either launching new 5-minute speeches or we're making pretty serious changes to the ones that they qualified for. So there's like a lot of rewrites and drafts.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool time. I'm less stressed than I am during the school year. They're obviously less stressed than they are during the school year. So we can kind of come at it with a more free-flowing creative thinking process, which is really fun. How would you summarize the plot of the award-winning children's book, Rainbow Fish?
I don't know that I remember it.
With the shiny gills?
Yeah, I remember that I can like see the like picture. Is it just that he's ostracized for being pretty or not having the same color scales as everybody else?
And so what does he do?
Tries to get rid of them?
And he gives one to everybody.
Oh,
and they're like,
right.
we're all shiny now.
Well, that's cute.
So the actual story is he's like, I'm shinier than all you ugly ass bitches. And they're like, we don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
And he was like, if I give you one skill, will you be my friend? And they're like, yeah. And he does that to the entire ocean until everyone has a scale and he has fewer scales. And so what my student is doing, it's one of the acting events. They have this new script written years later, and this kid, like the way they introduce the script, they go, my favorite book is about a selfish aquatic vertebrate who learns the wrong lesson from a stupid octopus and does not change his arrogant ways, but instead gives huge portions of himself away to others.
Wow, I never really...
Talk about boundaries.
Yeah, I never really processed how unhealthy the lessons of that book were.
And then the kid continues. Obviously, we workshopped this quite a bit, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember it word for word, but it was like stealing a chapter out of every rich kid's favorite book. Give things away until they like you. But hey, even pretty rich kids deserve to be liked for their personality.
I would,
so perhaps,
if any pretty rich kids
want to swing on by,
want to be friends.
So the name of this new script is Rainbow Fish keeps its gills or
scales.
Scales. Yeah, keeps it. Rainbow Fish keeps its scales. And it's talking to like this sassy side-eyeing catfish about like, honey, you don't have to get rid of your scales. You should stop being a huge fucking asshole. Have you thought about that? Like they're not using that exact language, but they are getting as close as they realistically feel like they can.
And in a professional setting.
Right. They're like, instead of tearing your body apart, have you ever thought about being nice? Let's go ahead and practice that. Let's do one singular compliment.
Wow, that's a therapist.
Yeah. And then at the very end, the catfish is like, and you, Rainbow Fish, I think you have very pretty eyes. And Rainbow Fish goes, wow, no one's ever complimented me for my eyes before. everyone always just compliments me for my scales. And I'm like, why am I crying? Why am I feeling bad for the rich kid that now isn't giving anything away? So that conversation happened. The kid leaves, feeling really good about it. As that kid leaves, my next student enters. They like high five on the way in.
Cute.
That's very fun. This is a student who their opening line is Brian, Noam, and I have a lot in
I love
common.
this kid.
More than just our shared love of balloons, obviously. And that line is so funny to me. And
I worked on not blocking, but like the gestures for that, and we got to like.
You did good, and your legacy lives on. I want you to know.
I just the little things.
Cupping
Yep,
is.
yep. You like put one hand down and then the other hand down, and then you realize that it's balloons. I feel good about it.
So then run that practice with the second kid. It's going well. Second kid and I are now just, shooting the shit as we wait for the third kid to come around. And this student is like, Mr. Thomas, I meant to tell you, me and one other student, one of the ones that was on the last trip, so you would know this kid.
Oh.
Me and this other student have decided we're going to have fun when we're at nationals, which, listener, is a week-long trip. They go, we have decided that we are going to adopt personas for this trip.
They say that every time.
Right. And I go, what? And they go, whoa, you're right, mister. More like mersonas. And I go,
what?
What are you talking about?
What? What do
kid
you mean?
is qualified for the national congressional tournament and congressional debate. It's like, I'm going to be a mersona. And I go, please explain. And he goes, we are going to cosplay as mermaids who are cosplaying as human. That's so meta to me. I love it so much.
Like, why?
I don't know, but they're going to have the best time on the trip.
They're just going to look, whatever.
I
it's
actually feel intimidated by how I, am an adult, is supposed to like engage with that in a way that makes them feel like seen and like heard and like blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, like, they're like, yeah, it's going to be super fun. We're going to cosplay as mermaids who are cosplaying as humans, but humans who have like really boring lives. So like so-and-so is going to like pretend to hate her wife and like things like that. So I'm like, it's a highbrow, strange, definitely queer coded criticism of what like middle class life.
If this was an A24 film, do you get the reveal that they're actually mer people at the beginning or at the end?
Comedy beginning, drama end.
Okay.
And that really does shape what those two movies look like,
No, that's why I asked it.
So then lastly, we were today, before I was here, I was at a like a coach social. We've all been getting kids ready for nationals. Most of us haven't seen each other since state or maybe national qualifiers or whatever. So it's been like 2 months since I've seen these people who I am used to seeing
all the time.
Every Saturday, if not more frequently.
Yeah.
So we're there, we're chatting. There's a couple of kind of newer coaches in the region, which is super fun. So they're there and we're retelling some story. And I was like, oh my God, I loved Infinite Monkey Theorem. Did you ever go?
Yes.
Loved Infinite Monkey Theorem.
They had the best little comedy shows.
Best stand-up show in Denver was Infinite Monkey Theorem. Whoever was their host was fantastic.
Oh my God, I miss her.
And I go, but the strangest experience I ever had was when I paid $20 to sit through an immersive apocalyptic community-written play starring the man that used to have my current job. And they go, what? I go, yeah, you paid $20, got a tumbler of wine, and then they drove you around in a retrofitted school bus to abandoned lots on Denver's industrial north side, telling the story of a perceived environmental apocalypse. And I will tell you, it was meaningful.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Then a coach across the table was like, Grant, you are giving such Stefan from SNL energy right now. Denver's hottest play is, where am I? This play has it all. Wine, environmental pollution, and the threat of tetanus.
Deeply unsettled. The way I would be convinced we're just getting kidnapped.
So I've had a pretty good day tonight.
I've had
a pretty good day.
Okay.
Is it a strange day, though? Or is it kind of just like, well, that's my life, like Hillary Duff style?
It is that. And it's also a combination of like, I feel like you de-stressing and just like caring a little bit less about some of these interactions.
How often are you thinking about Hillary Duff, by the way?
Ooh. In the summer, a lot more, I will say. If I'm on a European vacation, a lot.
Right. Do you also struggle to not say Hillary Clinton at first?
No.
Okay, so that's a me thing.
I think that maybe because I didn't really know who Hillary Clinton was until I was a bit older.
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually do think I was exposed to both of them at like basically the same day.
Because I knew Hillary Duff just because. Oh, God. This is what dreams are made of. Hey, girl.
Hey, now.
Okay, sorry. I had to get that out of my head.
I want somebody to love.
I'm going to put that on my running playlist.
Good.
I had to start running again. My hip hurt.
Are you running as Hillary Duff or Hillary Duff in an ugly black wig Hillary Duff?
I should start doing what your kids are doing and go running as a mer person pretending to be a person.
How about you just start off running as a person pretending to love running?
I tried that. It didn't work. No, I'm trying to run and keep my heart rate in zone 2, which is so much harder than I thought it would be. Zone 2 is like it's not tough. Like
whatever you're saying,
walking,
I want you to know.
I know
It's for their benefit.
Yeah,
not for mine.
fast walking is like it would be zone 2, and it is the best zone, I guess, to like increase your cardiovascular health overall. But it's actually shockingly difficult to stay in that like 20 heart or beats per minute range of your heart. And once you get up past that, really fucking hard to bring it back down. I was so frustrated the entire run over here. It's fine.
So it's going well.
Yeah.
I have just one last thing for my little coach
Hell
social,
yeah.
and then would love to hear how your day was. So at this coach social, one of my friends was like, "Oh my gosh, Grant, like we have to get dinner sometime." And I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, we do. Absolutely. Love it when conversations start that way."
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what's so funny? Ever since I've been in a relationship, I haven't gone to Dio Mio, one of the it's a Italian.
Oh, I want to go back so bad.
So good, right? Because here's the thing. For me, I love this Italian restaurant so much.
It's so
I
good.
refused to take first dates to it because I didn't want to ruin
it.
Dio Mio. So it was a second date location for me. And I'm not going to lie. Definitely looking back on what 2025 mostly looked like for me, there were several men who made it to the second round of interviews who did not deserve it, but I wanted Cacio e Pepe.
We be knowing.
Yeah, you do. And for some of our longtime listeners, yeah.
Yup.
But anyways, I was like, oh my God, we should go to Dio Mio. I love it. And then my dear friend, my dear, sweet, dear friend is like, did you know the company that runs and owns Dio Mio also opened up a pizza place? Okay.
I was worried that you were going to say it had like an evil villainous parent company, and I was going to be like, don't ruin this for me.
This is now a safe space.
Okay.
I would seriously question if it would even disqualify me from going. You know,
it's hard.
I'm like, what am I going to do? Order Domino's or Papa John's?
Where's the
or
pizza
something
place?
From I think Wash Park maybe or something. But I looked at my friend and I go, hey, here's the thing. The last year, this city has become overrun with like trendy sourdough crust pizza places that believe in just a few simple ingredients: wood-fired grill and friends around the table. We do things a little differently here. We're going to occasionally...
Every single one of them says that too. We do things a little differently here.
We do things a little differently here. We're going to occasionally come around and fill your water glass, but you need to order at the counter. Then later, we'll bring the food to you when you've told us what table you're at. Then you will tip us 20%. And it's like, yes, I will. Like, I'm not going to be there and the asshole who doesn't, like, I'm going to follow protocol.
Especially if you're a small business.
Right. But I'm like, what? Yeah, it's okay. All right. All right, if that's how we're doing it. And so I'm looking at my friend, and like several of the other coaches are chuckling a little bit. And I go, it honestly feels like the millennial taco shop when two millennials decided to quit their job and had a crazy idea. What if they made tacos you've never seen before?
I've seen them all now at this point, babe. And if I haven't seen them, it's because I don't want to.
Ours have crunchy onions on it. You know, like the ones on beanies.
Hate it.
We call this one the monster truck. What makes it special? For a $3 upcharge, we can melt Velveeta on
Here's
it.
the thing, all right, is that so many restaurants.
Every now and then, it's just me with a minesweeper with you. Where am I going to find it? I'm poking around.
Yeah.
I'm like...
I'm so glad one of us is aware of what's going on.
Going past the gate that says no cave diving beyond this point, and I'm like, where's the danger?
And eventually I come out with my Riddles 3.
That's exactly it.
The thing I hate about restaurants, especially in the US, like the little niche restaurants, bakeries, I'm looking at you, and bars, but like bakeries especially come to mind. They like want to stand out and they want to become a tourist attraction. And somehow instead of, I don't know, making really good things, they decide that they need to make really big things. And it's just like, have you seen those videos where they're like putting together like a pastry or like a coffee or something and they just keep adding shit to it? And you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And it turns out like, this shop has gone viral and has had a line around the block for the last 3 weeks since they released this item. And it's like, why? Honest to God,
The
why?
way I felt that way was the people who were getting milkshakes at this one place that was putting shit on the outside of the cup.
Yes, every time I see that, I'm like, why? The rim is the end of where things should be. I'm not licking that.
We are such boomers.
We really are.
I'm a millennial.
hater.
You're an honorary millennial.
Yeah.
And we are just zooming towards this country doesn't make any sense to me anymore.
We used to have respect for the things that we did. Anyway, if you're a small business owner and you make really big pastries, just know I still love you. But like, at what point in that process of making that were you like, we should stop putting things on this, you know?
I actually think this is maybe also a sign of age for you and I, and this business is going to go nameless because I don't want to name it, so that way I am not called out when I still go there.
Yeah.
But there is a bakery in town that kind of does like viral whatevers to get you through the door.
Yes.
And no fault of their own for doing marketing campaigns that work.
Yeah.
Gets my happy ass in there. But like recently they did one that was like Boston cream pie. And I know what's happening even before I go. It was like a Boston cream pie croissant, big style. And so you bite into the first and it's like a very thick,
And
hard
it's just
layer of croissant.
It just comes out at you after you get to the innards.
I have essentially cracked open an egg, and the yolk
you have to
is,
like lick it like it's
Right.
an ice cream cone. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So I will enjoy a bit of a hard pastry, and then separately also my least
Custard.
favorite way to eat custard, which is off a plate. Instead of like a bowl with a spoon.
But I at least respect that more than the like Bloody Marys that literally are taller than you.
Right.
You know,
well,
I don't want a full ass hamburger on my Bloody Mary. I'm not paying $20 for that bitch.
I think you should really reflect on that.
The more things get
Be
added,
cautious of a simple narrative, Maya.
the things, I think, honestly, it's not even like the dish itself or what's happening. It's that my little ADHD brain does not fucking understand what's happening, and I get overwhelmed, and then I decide that, like, because of the weird textures or whatever, I'm not eating half of it. So then where do I put it? And then it's like, but I just actually wanted a Bloody Mary, but it's actually the hardest fucking thing to get to in the way that they serve it. Like, I don't need to eat an entire meal before I get the Bloody Mary, you know? It's just too much.
I have two things to say. The first one's going to be very meta. The second one, very funny.
Okay.
First one, listener. Maya did not eat after her workout run today. And that's not food, that's liquid.
It's a protein shake.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have time to eat.
Right.
You were literally here. I had time to shower.
I didn't say that it was your fault or a bad thing. I just said Maya didn't eat before we recorded.
And I'm feeling defensive.
I haven't really eaten since like the little brunch I had at 10:30, had some snacks, and then we both sat down, took a sip of whiskey, and we were like, and you know what else pisses me off? And that's why we are violent about food right now. That's the meta comment.
Okay, yeah, that might be true.
Whoa. I was prepared for all responses except that one.
You have some merit there.
Yikes. Second,
I can admit fault.
years ago, I went to Vegas and then accidentally a week later went back to Vegas by myself.
Accidentally?
The second trip had long been planned. I've talked about that
It was
before.
the second one was or the first one was a hiking trip?
First one was a friend's
hiking?
birthday.
Okay.
Second one was a hiking trip, which is why the second time I was there, I was solo. And I sat down at Guy Fieri's restaurant.
Fucking incredible.
Bar top fine. Sat next to this couple honeymooning from Iowa and sat down and they were like, do you know what you want? And I go, I want the Bloody Mary and I want the trash can nachos. And they were like, got it. Thanks so much. And off they went.
The couple was like,
No, for
Jesus
real, because then they
Christ.
saw what came out, and I didn't even fucking look at the menu, and they were impressed. And I was like, this is so cool. Then I went back to my hotel room and took a shower and farted and
I was gonna
sat
say,
in 66
had a
degree
violent
air
time.
conditioning for the rest of the night. Had the best day, but the cool run ended at Guy Fieri's restaurant at the Link on the Strip.
I think that's fair, though, for a solo trip to Las Vegas. That seems like a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the support.
All right, you ready to get into a story?
I think so, because I have nothing else to say. I was
Sure.
actually trying to play back how on earth we managed to get onto food in the first place.
Pizza. Dio mio.
Right. So yeah, anyways, let's go to Dio Mio sometimes. Because they do a really nice focaccia.
Their focaccia, I dream of her.
The focaccia with the black butter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their pasta, I'm a simple bitch. I just want a spaghetti and meatballs, just no fanciness added.
And they're doing a nice job with
They
it.
do so good. It's not as good takeout. I don't know if you've had it takeout. It's just like categorically not as good.
I don't generally bring things home. My boyfriend does. And then he leaves for work. And then he's like,
Well.
not a huge fan of leftovers. So then I not only get to eat it, but kind of morally have to.
Yeah.
It's a perfect relationship in
That
so
really
many
is.
ways.
If Casey did that to me, I'd kill him.
No, I know.
Don't,
Kind of same.
Don't touch my
I
leftovers.
showed you that video of the cake before we sat down
Yeah.
to record.
I think I dream of her. That's the one thing that really saves Casey and I's relationship is he doesn't like a sweet treat.
Neither does my partner. And I'm less so
yeah.
too. But anyways. Let's start talking about today's episode. Should be a fun one.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. As always, you and I are like, gosh, I think there's a lot of things to say, and I think it's a 90 minutes amount of information, but we'll find
Who's to
out.
say?
This story comes from an audiobook that I was listening to in the spring after debate season wrapped up, largely because after not having to craft a story for a while, we kind of Sonic the Hedgehog sped run until we got to me as the next checkpoint. And I was like, yes, 70 hours, I can do that. Yeah, absolutely. I can put something together.
You decided the theme last night.
Yes, I did. Well,
Yesterday.
Yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, okay.
I just want you to know, in addition to putting this story together, I have read, Gwyneth Paltrow has read 30% of that book to me.
Honestly,
it's just, there's a lot going on.
Relaxing.
So I think one of the really interesting themes and frames to think about when it comes to tonight's story is what does it look like when we use other people's stories or narratives to advocate for ourselves? What happens when we source out the inspiration or the lesson or whatever to advance our own interests? What responsibility do we hold to the original person? When does that responsibility start to fade away? When does a person become just property of history, property of culture and community and society, And then what responsibility do we have who are then looking into that character without actually using them for any specific advocacy purpose? What responsibility do we have to the legacy that has been created versus the actual person?
Right.
And then how do we navigate when there's a gap and the truth might actually be less flattering to the individual than as they've been reminded? Does that make sense?
Yes.
When we water someone down so much and co-opt their story.
One of my first really meta moments in high school, aside from being depressed all the time, was
Right.
there was a girl who passed away my senior year, and it was really it was an accident. It was nobody saw it coming, and my perception of her up till that point was she was nice, sure, but like I didn't know her, and my perception of her was that she maybe came off a lot less intelligent than she actually was. And it felt performative.
Yeah.
So I I just didn't have a ton of respect for her. Amongst other things, like I felt like she was mean to some people, but I mean, that's how every person is, right?
Right.
You have your good people, you have your people that you don't get along with. But after she passed, it became this narrative of like, she was a basketball star and like helped every single person that she saw and like did all of like was the light in the room when she walked in, and her smile could like brighten your entire day. And it's like, sure.
Right.
But also like there is nuance here, and it is important to like remember someone truthfully. And like that's not someone that was close to me, so it's not something that I ever like stepped in and like said anything about. But like it always bothered me because I was like, why does someone become this like pillar of the community after they pass?
Right. So today, do I want to I'm just going to read it off right. So today, we are going to talk about a famous warrior queen.
Oh.
From almost over 2,000 years ago.
Jesus
so
Christ.
This is not like
Jesus Christ.
nice.
Thank
yeah,
you.
very much
I
around
feel
this
good about
time.
that.
I mean, he's definitely dead by the time this story runs, but like maybe kind of warm
Depends on
still.
who you ask.
Yikes. For both of us. I actually mention him later in this story.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we're doing a story that features prominently the Roman Empire.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, the audiobook I was finishing on Sunday when I had to start really thinking about it. But what went from like a story of like, this is a person people might know, I'm going to do a story to like get them the information they do need to know. It has gone from that over the last, 48 hours.
Yeah.
To something that I'm actually really kind of excited to talk about and stand by.
Yeah.
I think there's some really interesting layers to this. So today we're going to talk about the famous warrior queen Boudica of the British Isles. Do you recognize that name at all?
Not even a little bit.
Our UK listeners will absolutely recognize Boudica. Boudica is...
There's at least one UK listener that's panicking right now.
Shit, fuck.
Shit, do I need to know that?
Was this year 11s? I don't know how they do school up there. They have their own little names up there, and that's super adorable and
oh my God.
and endearing. Go ahead and write it now. Australia's like, are they making fun of us again?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell sometimes between the British and Australia hate.
I can't tell you apart sometimes.
So, Boudica, this is what American listeners, here's the best way to describe it to you. If the legend of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, kind of like, who else do I want to see here? General Sherman, Tecumseh Sherman, Ulysses S. Grant.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Sure. If they all, like, this is our version of them. These people who have grown so far past their own actual
They are now
life and accomplishments.
literally carved into stone.
Right. Honest Abe never told a lie. George Washington chopped down that
cherry
tree. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus. Like, Abraham Lincoln absolutely told a lie. George Washington enslaved people, okay? He probably did cut down a cherry tree, but then also demanded through threat of violence and death for others to do it.
And weren't his dentures made out of like the teeth of previously enslaved people
Correct.
or enslaved people?
As well as donkey teeth and lead.
Bridge what?
It's so lovely knowing just touches of history.
Horrifying.
So let's take those stories for a second and then rewind them 2,000 years.
Okay. Oh my
And
God.
what could famous orator and justice fighter, believer in freedom and liberty, honest to a fault Abraham Lincoln look like in today's mind? And how might we then use his story to advocate for ourselves?
Well, that's the same party as Donald Trump. Did you know that?
Yeah, absolutely. And they are one and the same, indistinguishable in terms of policies.
And physique.
They both, for instance, have a dubious relationship with the American legal justice system. He
Interesting.
suspended habeas corpus.
Yeah, that's tough.
So Boudica is from the British Islands, and she's famous for going against and trying to fight against the expansion of the Roman Empire into the British Islands.
Oh.
She's hailed as a national symbol of Britain today. A statue of her, along with her two daughters, gilded on a chariot, points the way to Westminster Abbey, which is their Congress building in the UK, American listeners. She represents British nationality, freedom, independence, the determination to carry on. She represents all sorts of things. She represents, for some, Brexit and why the British should leave the European Union. Others believe that her and, what was her name? Margaret Thatcher were exactly, Margaret Thatcher's just Boudica and pearls, is what someone said. And this is what I mean a little bit when it comes to this is what I mean when I'm these people's histories are complicated, because Boudica would not have liked Theresa May. Not Theresa May. That's a different female prime minister of the United Kingdom, both from the Conservative Party. Margaret Thatcher.
What is Margaret Thatcher's legacy? Because I know her from The Crown, and that's about it.
Okay.
You can't do a history episode and expect me not to have a lot of fucking questions.
It'd just be you looking at me and being so what is Bill Clinton's legacy today?
And
Quickly,
I do have
2.5
questions.
sentences.
And I still have questions.
Margaret Thatcher fundamentally reshaped the economy of the United Kingdom. Her legacy today is largely viewed negatively because of the vicious campaign she launched against organized labor and the gutting of social services programs. An American lens is that Margaret Thatcher was the United Kingdom's Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck Ronald Reagan.
Right. But here's why Boudica would have hated Margaret Thatcher, okay? Boudica would not believe Margaret Thatcher was suited to rule because Margaret Thatcher's parents were poor.
Oh, my God.
And so, just very interesting stuff.
It's crazy how the social norms of the time, you forget. You're like, this dude's cool. Oh, I forgot he owned slaves.
Boy, our UK listeners are really writing in now between Boudica, 11s, and then my description of Margaret Thatcher. I am looking forward to getting those messages.
We want more of you.
Hopefully not during nationals. That is, I'm not going to respond. It'll be my ear bullying.
Well.
So how can one person be so removed from modern politics, even the politics of her time? Boudica was removed almost entirely from her own contemporary politics and still be such a convenient narrative today.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why she's super cool. Boudica is not necessarily a person I need you to root against, okay?
Oh, okay.
You are welcome to be like, hell yeah, girl. And there's going to be moments where you're like, get your tits out.
Okay.
There are other moments too where you're like, oh my God, put the tits away. Or more specifically.
Tits in.
More specifically, and laugh now. Haha, laugh now. Get those tits out of her mouth. Right. Enjoy. In 31 minutes.
I'm scared of what happens to the owner of
It's okay.
those
She's
tits.
dead.
Yep, that's what I was worried about.
Boudica.
Yep.
But also the owner of those tits.
Okay.
This podcast has won awards.
I really do need to start getting on that, or else that legacy is going to get dated real fast.
No, it's fine. And also still fun.
Jesus Christ.
Our year in the wilderness. And it's just, we had other things going on.
Yeah. We were on a no phones vacation in Aspen for the weekend.
Hey, high five.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to actually now start talking about historical fact. It's chaptered. I doubt I'm going to actually say the chapter titles in today's episode. I kind of think it fits better as more of just what feels like a running narrative, but they're there if you would like them, which you now know because we're at the start of one. But if you don't want to listen to us yet, use the chapter feature.
Oh, yeah.
So to understand Boudica, who is from where?
The British Islands.
Right. And what is happening to the British Islands during the time of Boudica?
The Roman Empire is trying. What?
You're a 2 for 2.
Nice.
A plus 100%.
You interrupted me, and I was like, okay.
I'm like, and I'm going to stop you from saying something now wrong. You got enough.
Okay, cool. Are the British Islands the same as the British Isles?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I'm saying this, I'm mostly meaning England and Wales, and then some of the islands that surround them. We're not going to talk about Ireland in this story today.
Yeah.
We're going to start this story then talking about what it was like to be a woman, not in the British Isles, but in Rome.
Okay.
And that, especially as a lover of Greek mythology,
Yeah.
I think you're going to find really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's super important to kind of compare these two existences because one of the big reasons why Boudica is so famous years later, and there's other ways to pronounce her name, I'm aware. This is the one that I'm most comfortable with pronouncing.
This is how Gwyneth Paltrow said it.
Nice. They don't get it at all,
No, they
and that's
don't.
okay.
You've been mentioning Gwyneth Paltrow quite a bit the last couple weeks.
Undeniably, a part of this is that Boudica was a woman. So, like, what did it look like to be a woman on the other side of this equation that like ultimately makes this woman so famous?
Right.
So in Rome, there was no bigger nightmare than a bossy woman.
Hate that.
Think about some of the women that we know from Roman history today. What is perhaps the most famous woman who had dealings with the Roman Empire? Cleopatra.
Yes. I was like, I don't want to say it and be dumb.
No, that was a tougher one.
Okay.
Cleopatra. Okay, let me read now what I've read.
Yeah.
Dido of Carthage, Cleopatra of Egypt, and Boudica of Britain all held positions of power that were not limited because of their sex. But they also form a cautionary tale. So for those of us who don't really know the tale of any of these women, they, especially kind of by Roman history standards, kind of got their positions via merit. Like they're all viewed as like dangerous players on the field, right?
Okay.
They are viewed as like competent, who are like maybe well born or well placed or well married, but like are capable of holding their own.
Right.
Part of that too is necessary. Like in the tale of Cleopatra, Cleopatra needs to be perceived as like a cunning, powerful woman. That is the only way you can justify a very powerful Roman falling in love with her. Right? Which is Mark Antony, and like a really important way of framing that, because it's actually a huge part of a civil war, and you need to win over that side. And so how do you disqualify him without disparaging him? I know, right? And so you have this story of like Cleopatra, this like seductress, this like player on the board who's like cunning and interesting and wonderful and wild, but also at the same time, she's a woman.
So she has to be docile,
well, or she's
not bossy.
She's also maybe like a little sexy, and like that's important. And by being sexy, then you're like manipulating a man, which is like a subversion of nature, but also like kind of hot and fun to talk about. And like, you know what I'm talking about, guys? Yeah. And then almost all of them in Roman stories, trigger warning, because this is probably not true, at least for some of them, die from suicide. Yeah. Cleopatra famously gets bitten by a venomous snake. Here's the thing that's actually really interesting. We know for a fact that is almost 100% not true. Because
but we don't know for sure, right?
We don't know for sure, but if the story really is, as it is presented, that Cleopatra poisoned herself by having a snake bite her that a servant smuggled in through a fruit basket while she was under lock and key. We know that's true because the snakes of Egypt that are poisonous enough to kill a human are also, so sorry, too big to smuggle in a fruit basket without being detected.
How big is a fruit basket?
I think it's like one woman's lunch, not like a edible arrangement, if that helps.
That does help, actually, like, so much. That's awful to think about. Also, I don't know what the update is on this, but I think it was Cleopatra that said no man will ever find my tomb or something like that. Right. Yeah, and there was like, last I checked, there was like a female archaeologist that was like getting close or felt she was getting close.
Sure, potentially.
Very excited for that one day.
Or Roman history has just passed down a narrative where Cleopatra said you will never find my tomb to justify the fact that the Romans did not give her a proper burial.
Well, that's depressing.
I'm so sorry to tell you that.
Okay.
What if her body's been burnt and ashes scattered? Okay, what if, this is so
Grant
delicious.
Doesn't understand.
She was like, you'll never find me.
Sometimes Grant is like, I don't understand what it's like to be depressed. And then he does that shit to me. I find a glimmer of a silver lining.
I'm so sorry.
And then he's like, well, actually, I know when I'm like halfway through a sentence when Grant is about to ruin my night.
Because you can kind of see on my face.
Yeah, he's like, oh, baby.
And I understand why you would think that. Copyright law is hard to understand. So is trademark infringement.
I'm literally,
that's not how I feel about you.
I'm gonna literally fucking explode. I know. The way I've been like, how do I force how do I make everyone that I know read the whole filing and also brush up on the basics of trademark law before we have a conversation? Because I refuse to have this conversation with anyone who doesn't know the case.
I spent 80% of my time talking about trademark law, and I spent the other 20% of the time trying to figure out a way for someone else to bring it up. Mean Girls.
No, that's literally it.
Paragraph 2.
Yeah. You told me to be chatty.
No, and I'm actually really liking this. This is so good. Also, like, this is a story in large part on how women were treated and then are also remembered in an age and an empire where the agency to have any kind of real control over that is not granted to them.
This is also really fitting. My coworker is writing a book called If These Boots Could Talk. And I think she hired a ghostwriter, but it's about what it's like as a woman in the male workplace and like passing on her knowledge. And I'm helping her like review it. And there's a lot of themes going on.
Yeah. Which is obviously bad, but also like what I think makes history so interesting.
So interesting, yeah.
Because history to me has always felt so contemporary. Like it's always felt so modern, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Rome, images of women, especially these like famous warrior queens or powerful women on the geopolitical chessboard, right, minimize their ability through an over-sexualization of their form. I remember reading this one story that was like, hey, no one's ready for this conversation. Cleopatra is probably ugly. Cleopatra's parents were siblings. Like Cleopatra came from a line. One of the reasons why Cleopatra was able to kill her brother so easily and take the throne, which is part of the things that she does, is because he probably wasn't all there from the like royal inbreeding, right? That doesn't necessarily create like a Salma Hayek situation oftentimes. Which means Mark Anthony might have actually loved her for her personality, but you're not ready for that conversation.
No, I'm really not ready for that conversation. What the fuck?
I'm living in the sun right now. I'm loving how this episode is going. Okay. So all these women are oftentimes viewed as like overly sexual, right? Mm-hmm. And by making them overly sexual, you make them both conquerable and desirable to be conquered. Does this make sense?
Conquerable and desired to be conquered. Yeah. So like you want them and you also understand them defeating other people.
Right. And so what's like, because it's not fun to beat a little kid at a foot race. Like you were always going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so you present these women as formidable opponents, and thus the accomplishment is actually an accomplishment.
Yeah.
But also because it's a woman, you need to then also portray them in a way in which you would want to do something like that. You know, you're not demeaning yourself by being in competition with a woman because what a woman and what a woman. But also, I beat her, and that's impressive, even though she's a woman. You know,
I hate it.
It's this really insular circle of male-written history that only serves to protect the legacy of these male conquerors.
I just hate men so much.
A lot of people are having a lot of thoughts. Like, for instance, it's during this time that the British Isles start to be represented as Britannia, which is a woman with like a sword and, not a sword, a spear and shield, and is where in part, like, we get that name from. The representation of the province of Britannia as a sexualized, dominated female body is common in monuments and on Roman coins. In triumphal imagery, large and small, a man's domination over a woman's body becomes an analogy to Rome's expansion and her empire and the control she exerted over her provinces. And so in Roman history literature, the way they are memorializing their own history in that moment, women are all of these things: sexual, hot, good to take on, but also it was good that we did. That was an accomplishment.
It's like almost like it's like trying to diminish an accomplishment while still trying to respect the accomplishment. Like you're it's like they're aware of the fact that they're belittling women, but they're trying to do everything that they can to not belittle women while still belittling women.
And so then catch this, because this is then interesting too. That was publicly how Romans oftentimes used the female form. But in their own personal lives back home, women held a much more complicated position in Roman society.
Right.
For the most part, Roman women did not have public lives, right? There was not necessarily like positions for women to seek out, or even like outside of like the Vestal Virgins, there isn't even necessarily like religious orders for women to go off to.
What are the Vestal Virgins?
Women,
Cults-ish?
women who were like temple workers,
Okay.
who their virginity was a big reason why they were like
Oh,
pure and able to
okay,
communicate
okay,
with the
okay, yeah.
gods, and at times could be
Yes.
low-key drugged to give advice.
Yep.
That makes
Cool,
sense?
cool.
The Vestal Virgins in Greece are the ones who say,
Yes.
if you march against Greece, a great empire will fall.
Knowing me when I'm a little toasted, can you imagine following whatever I tell you to do?
I think that would be really funny.
I think we should do that for a day.
Let's a whole ass day.
Yeah. Why not? At least 6 hours.
Never going to financially recover from this.
I don't think
I just don't think we should leave for Sonic until the Macaroni Man food gets dropped off. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, so for instance...
damn, you're an oracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roman women enjoyed female-only religious festivals.
Okay.
There were plenty of female-only spaces. To be the virtuous wife of a famous Roman emperor provided you with your own degree of social power within these female-centered communities. And that also meant you were vital in propping up your husband's political career. For instance, Julius Caesar famously divorced his wife because there was accusations that Julius Caesar's wife was having an affair. And while there was plenty of evidence that she wasn't. Julius Caesar is
Needed to
famous
squash
for
that
saying the wife of Caesar should be beyond reproach, which is to say that like the wife of Caesar can't even have suggestions
About
of infidelities.
Damn, we could do some crazy work in that court.
Correct. But do you know what's also super interesting? Women could divorce freely and they could initiate it on their own.
With no cause?
Correct.
Whoa. Like, I don't understand. Like, how did we get here?
Right.
Why are we here today?
Not only could women divorce kind of without cause, but oftentimes they were triggered into divorce because they were needed to marry someone more important. Which is crazy. There are some people who went through 3 or 4 marriages because they basically just kept marrying up by decree of like their well-connected father. Like he might come and be like, Maya, so sorry. I love this so much. I do need you to divorce Casey. There's a different person that I got to get you to marry.
That just like there's no trust between couples at that point.
Right, but yes, and you know, I mean, not everyone's in that position to where someone's going to tell them like their marriage is going to be divorced.
Imagine you're the third husband to somebody.
Right. Here's the really interesting thing. This because we're just talking about upper class women and like the politics of it. For most, even like well-to-do middle class families, marriage involved a ceremony where you invited people over, but absolutely no religious or state recognition. In fact, it wasn't uncommon for couples to just be like, we're married. Like just start to like name we're married, which meant those marriages of even upper middle class families and then on down could be dissolved by one of them just saying we're not married anymore.
Fucking-credible.
When your husband died, you got to inherit everything and keep it if you're a woman as long as you had 3 children by that point, which considering that the average Roman woman probably had 9 to 11 children in her lifetime.
You're just pregnant. You're just always...
Like they did out the math to how like population growth could ever be possible based off of what they have to assume are the infant mortality rates.
Yeah.
And it's like you need 2 children to live to adulthood, right? If you want to increase the likelihood of that, then you need a 3rd one, right? But in a time when like 1 in 5 children didn't live to see the age of 3.
You gotta have a lot of kids.
It like the number becomes like 4, 5, 6, like pretty quickly, especially during a time where there's like no contraceptions at all whatsoever. You know?
Oh my God.
If you'd had 3 children, you could inherit everything from your deceased husband. If you were a formerly enslaved person who was then freed, slavery in Rome worked very differently than how we would understand it today. Certainly not like good. No one's like wanting that.
Was it more of like an indentured servitude situation?
Yes, but you didn't choose to go into it. Usually your tribe lost, and then everyone was imprisoned.
Daenerys Targaryen
Correct.
from Game of Thrones.
Your body there's almost no control over your body, and they can use it for whatever. But you were also like generally kind of understood to be like an important economic part of like the running of an estate.
Could be freed.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
In fact, oftentimes enslaved people earned a salary.
Like, how did we get here?
No, I know. If you were an enslaved woman who was now a free woman and your husband passed away, you inherited everything just so long as you'd had 4 kids. The only distinction between you and a freeborn Roman citizen.
Pregnancy. But do those kids have to be alive?
The book didn't get super detailed into that. I think it's just like you have done your wifely duties, recognized by the society, by the country, whatever that you have. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so they can divorce, they can inherit. For some of the well-to-do women, they could just fully inherit and take over the estate if their husbands had to go into exile, which was a super common thing in the Roman Empire too. Husband has to go away into exile for 5 years, wife just runs the business. In fact, there's
fucking incredible.
The wife of Pompey gets a letter from Pompey in exile, and he's like, I need cash. And she's like, got it, liquidates part of the estate. Doesn't need like a man to sign off on it. She sells like a series of like row home apartments they hold in Rome, liquidates that asset, has the cash, sends it to Pompey.
Bro, what?
No, I know. And so when we think about Boudica, which is ultimately what the story about, fighting against like the big bad Roman Empire, what's our perception of what this life is about to be like for her? Yeah. You know what I mean?
What is it, just the perception of being conquered that she doesn't want, or does she have something specific against?
She's going to have a specific cause that makes Boudica want to fight. But the question, the larger and I think far more important question is like, from our historical memory, what is she supposed to represent, right? Because also for an aristocratic tribal woman, Celtic woman, whatever we would maybe use the word for, the arrival of the Romans is not going to be a bad thing for her, and probably will continue to enrich her in like a grander societal sense because of gender norms and expectations in Rome at this time.
Damn.
Okay. Yep. Great.
You haven't looked at your phone in a while.
The key takeaway. Oh, right. Because like several Roman women will enjoy degrees of independence unheard of 2,000 years later.
Yes.
Like Jane Austen is an unknown author to us if she lives in this society. Yeah. More or less. I mean, she was a great writer. I'm not saying But what she wrote about
would not have happened.
No, like, I have to get married. There are no other options, right?
Yeah.
Not as big of a deal.
Well.
No, I know. All very interesting, right?
Interesting.
Okay. So, were things perfect? No. Were they good? Sure, by like some standards, maybe not by others. You know, there's certainly examples at this time elsewhere in the world where women maybe played a larger part in like civil society. But I can't speak as a woman, but if I had to draw a card, that's maybe not the worst card you could pull in the pile. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like there are freedoms. You do have some amount of agency, and that's not true in a lot of other places and even later in history.
Right. So then now let's talk a little bit about the Roman arrival in the British Isles. So there's a lot of Roman history that happens between 300 BCE, which stands for before current era, to year 0 or year 1, which we understand, if you're old like me, as AD. But
Anno Domini.
Correct, after the birth of Jesus. Yeah. But more modern historians just use the term CE, Common Era. So the like battle against Carthage, the Peloponnesian Wars, which I think actually is like Greek, not Roman, but this area always kind of gets like blurry for me in my mind. I don't know. Hannibal from Carthage, the elephants, the conquering of Gaul, things like that. Yeah. These are before this era, okay? Mm-hmm. The Romans take over much of what we would understand as Western Europe, North Africa, Greece, the Mediterranean, Turkey, which they called Asia, and then parts of like Jerusalem, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, right? The current state of Israel. What we would know as
Middle East.
Correct.
Yeah, sometimes.
Bethlehem, for instance, is a full-on Roman province during this time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because that's where Jesus is born. And there's like a census going on, and all of this stuff's happening. So for Roman emperors during this time.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
If in the Bible they weren't having that census for whatever reason, like they just had to go to Bethlehem for some other reason.
A conference for Joseph.
No one in the entire United States would know what a census is.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Not a single one of us would know.
Where did you read that? Because that's so powerfully true. So
wouldn't.
powerfully true.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
I mean, I would, but
Yeah, but that's...
I know who my congressional representative is, you know?
The politically aware there would be so many people who are like, a census? I have to do what? I have to check my mail?
That's a powerful statement you're making
Thank
right now. So Roman emperors at the time, Rome switches from a republic to an empire towards the end of the BCEs. As you get closer and closer to year one, you are having less republic and more I am God king of the entire Roman Empire.
Right. Yeah, and that really fluctuated a lot throughout the Roman...
It was like very proudly a republic with like elected positions
Yeah.
and stuff. That's like where we get the word Senate from
Right.
is like a Roman word kind of. And that encouraged a lot of competition amongst really affluent people.
Right.
They were like, I'm going to go off. I'm going to fight this war. I'm going to conquer this new province. And when I'm going to come back,
I'll be
they're
a
going to give
part of
me
the
a triumph, this big parade. And then I'll get elected to be consul, which is like co-president of Rome.
Right.
And then you see like the arrival of like Julius Caesar and like kind of other dictators.
The people that take on way more than their fair share.
The republic officially kind of ends and you have an emperor, but there's still kind of a senate. But the important thing here to understand is that Roman emperors felt less immediate urge for geographic competition because they were already emperor.
And they're already, they're living the good life.
They are simply competing with their predecessors. And the need to conquer then slows down quite a bit.
Is Alexander Great part of the Roman Empire?
Great question. They would probably claim parts of his heritage.
Ottoman? No.
You're right about
the
Macedonian, which is Greek.
Right,
but it's happening years before our understanding it from. So Julius Caesar first arrives in the British Isles right before year one. I think it's like 50 BCE, somewhere around there. Does not stay, but it's the first Roman exploration, okay? Romans come back in the year 49 CE, right? So like 80 years later.
Yeah.
And then they conquer what we would consider southern England, like London, the surrounding counties.
I don't think I ever processed that they got that far.
And they'll go even further. This is just where we're at right now in this
I don't think I processed that they got to like...
They found a couple of cities, most importantly, Londinium.
That's dumb.
Not actually London.
I know.
I'm kidding. It is
but,
actually
London. It's dumb.
Burns down, and then they rebuild it, and it's London that they settle. And in some places like this, Roman conquest feels inevitable. The Romans are in France. The Romans are in Belgium. The Romans are in the Netherlands. They obviously have different names for the Romans, but geographically, that's what we would call them.
Those countries.
Correct. Which means that those regions are part of the larger Roman economic world, right?
Right.
So it's around this time, for example, that France starts to produce more wine than Italy. And starts to get because it's Roman wine growers moving out of Italy and into Rome and setting these up. It's around this time that Spain produces more olive oil than Italy and is shipping it across the Mediterranean and is creating kind of, and some of the first times in European history, monocultural agriculture at an industrial scale. Whole regions of what we would now consider Spain simply growing olives for olive oil.
Right, because you don't need olive groves between every city. You just need them in some place that they can transport it to everywhere.
You have just this by the coast, you're growing a shit ton of olives. Don't grow anything else. There's no money in anything else. You're going to grow some food
olives
to feed us, but the only thing this region does, olives, right?
Whoa.
You have in parts of Spain, the Romans are doing industrial grade mining at such a level that it's causing such a degree of air pollution that you can spot it in ice cores they pull from Greenland.
I fucking love shit like that.
I thought you would.
That's so fucking cool.
A lot of this episode is me building like a world that is, I think, fun to visit.
Dude, science is so sweet.
And there's this free exchange of goods because obviously if olive oil is going from Spain to Rome, something needs to come back.
Yes.
If wine is going from France to Rome, something needs to come back.
So are France and Spain not part of the Roman Empire?
They are. They are full provinces.
Provinces,
But Rome would view them more so as colonies than actual Roman places. Right.
Okay.
And so...
Is it Rome that's telling them what to grow?
It'd probably be more like economic conditions of
that's
Rome.
what-
Yeah.
okay.
A centralized government. I mean, Rome's by far one of the most centralized governments you have in the world at this time.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
like limited simply by geography, let alone anything else.
Yeah.
But it means that as luxury goods flow to Rome, other goods are going to push out and return on that same trade route.
Right.
And that's going to then land them in these places far away from Rome.
Okay.
Like northern France, Belgium.
Right.
Where you have the British Isles individuals, the indigenous people of the British Isles, which feels like such a funny thing to say, in their boats, trading with these coastal communities and experiencing Roman goods for the first time.
Yeah.
Roman goods in settled Roman towns, Roman technology, Roman metalwork, right? Roman, certain degrees of like Roman luxury items too, things like that. In fact, there's a big concern during this time of Rome that the Romans have become too luxurious, that their silk and their fabrics and their food and their wine and their olive oil is actually making them too soft to effectively run an empire that does kind of need a little bit of violence.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, isn't that the fall of an empire?
Right. So the Romans fully just like march into the British Isles, southern England especially, in 49 CE. Okay?
Okay.
But they are there kind of as an extension of economic activity that was
Like,
already
they're not
happening.
there to conquer necessarily.
Well, they are, but it's now not necessarily deeply unknown. It's like this is a region that has trade with us. There is opportunities for more economic growth.
Right.
You have some people who, because these borders are also blurry. They're not the way we would think of today. You have degrees of what the Romans would consider civilization, or as we would understand it, degrees of familiarity with Roman society.
Right, okay.
And so, like, a Roman in Rome might not view people in northern France as Roman, might actually view them as just a step above barbarians, right? But the people in northern France, they might identify themselves as like both Gallic and Roman. And they're kind of able to like transcend both worlds. 'Cause at the end of the day, they're just worried about their like leather shop or their farm
They
or
have
whatever,
other shit
right?
to worry about
They
than
have
being
so much
considered
other shit to worry
barbarians,
about.
yeah.
And so it does not matter to them if they sell their products further south to like a Roman luxury outlet distributor or further north to a person that can bring them like timber or tin or other metals like from the British Isles. They're just trying to put food on the table.
Yeah,
kind
they
of
don't
stuff.
care. Yeah.
In fact, there's some evidence to suggest that certain luxury like pottery and clay, the makers went by both a Roman name and a Gallic name to just serve both
Yeah,
communities.
they're like, we're not playing.
To the point they might have just printed both names directly onto their pottery.
Nice.
Brought to you by Glarb and Clarf, also known as Julius Caesar. And so
Jesus Christ, Grant.
the Romans arrive, but like in some ways the army is the last to arrive.
Okay. Yeah.
But now there's a formal outlet of the Roman Empire. So there's towns, there's walls, there's roads between places. There's a governor, there's going to be taxes.
Right.
There are quick clashes. And now, guess what? You are under Roman control, which doesn't necessarily make you Roman, but does make you part of the Roman Empire.
Yeah. Yeah, and their economic system.
Right. And there are places that are fully within the control of the Roman Empire, as the Romans would understand it.
Yes.
They'd be like, we have come to an understanding that you are now part of this empire.
Yeah.
And there would be places beyond that that are like, you are a trusted ally. Or, from a different perspective, forced ally.
I was going to say, it feels more like mob mentality.
We don't want to go further, but we will. So what does that make you feel right now about all of that?
Shut up and be quiet.
Boudica's family is the second group.
Obviously.
They're just on the outskirts of the empire.
Okay.
Viewed as like a forced or favored ally, depending on the writing.
Yeah.
And now we have gone back from all this like world setup to the actual lived life of Boudica.
Okay.
And so I'm going to give you as many historical facts as I can. Here's something that you're going to hear me say a couple times for the rest of this episode, though. Boudica's story is written primarily by two male Roman historians.
Of course.
One wrote it, what I believe looks like 20 to 40 years after her time.
Okay.
So had the chance maybe to talk to people who like fought in these
Living memory.
battles. Right. And then another person wrote it 100 years after her time.
Not living memory.
Right. And that's so funny too, because from a historical lens, it like, oh, they just missed each other.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, there was 8 generations. What
Yeah,
are you
like
talking
they
about?
would not have even known each other's names.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Go ahead right now. Go ahead and interview your grandma's neighbor from 1925. Please feel free. right? Like that information to us is so inaccessible with all of our modern techniques, right?
Yeah.
What sources are they drawing on?
Right.
It's not like a library necessarily they're going downtown to get like multiple perspectives.
No,
of.
yeah.
One is from, the more recent one is from Tacitus. He's the one that lived closer to Boudica. The second one, his name's like, I think it's like Dio or Dido. It looks so close to the word dildo.
Jesus.
And here we go. Boudica's life before the arrival of the Roman Empire is obviously mostly a mystery to the Roman Empire.
Obviously, yeah.
But she's born probably sometime around the year 40 CE.
Okay.
So sorry. Nope. That's when the territory gets conquered.
I was going to say, that's crazy.
What we do know is that she gets married at 18 to a man named, this is not Roman, like Pragastagus.
Gotcha.
He's about to die, so don't even learn his name.
Gotcha.
King of the Iceni tribe, which is in modern-day East Anglia. When the Romans conquered southern England in 43, they made most Celtic tribes, they had to like swear allegiance to Rome.
Right.
They let Pragastagus, Prasut
Prastu.
Agas.
Prastigus.
Prastigus. That's a much easier name than
Can you
Pragastagus.
spell it one more time?
Prastutu.
Yep. S-U.
Tagas.
Oh, God.
Right.
Prostatigus.
It's that one.
Prostatigus.
They're like, you
Yep, that one.
or say a favorite ally to us, right?
Okay.
And for the next 17 years, that works. Also, over those 17 years, Boudica and Pragastagus have a couple of daughters, right? Things like that. And then in the year 60 CE, he dies without a male heir.
So
Which
it's all Boudica.
Oh, so it's complicated.
Oh, she doesn't have
King
kids.
Pragastagus is like my wife.
King?
Yeah, King Pragastagus of the Iceni tribe.
Oh, wait, who's her husband?
King Pragastagus.
Oh, she's married to a king. Gotcha.
Yep,
Okay, I missed
yep.
that.
King Pragastagus of the Iceni tribe.
There cannot be this many people named
Now,
Pragastagus.
dead husband
Yes.
of Boudica
Yeah.
is like, I leave most of it to you and our daughters, but I'm going to give some of this to the Romans too, as part of like an agreement we had when they first arrived.
Boudica's like, over my dead body.
No, the Romans are like, thank you so much. We do not respect this will. We will be taking all of it. Yeah.
What? Why?
The Romans annexed his entire kingdom and confiscated his family's land and property. So
Why?
like they were rulers of the kingdom and had their own personal holdings.
Yeah.
And the Romans are like, all of ours now.
Like, literally, why?
I mean-
Especially when they're not technically under your control.
Well, remember everything we said about Roman gender rules at the time?
Yeah.
Pragastagus, I know that's not his name anymore. I'm so sorry, but I can't say anything else. Pragastagus dies without a male heir.
Okay,
So
so
it's
they're
like-
there's no one to take over,
There's
but
this leadership scramble.
because he's a ruler.
This tribe is just ran by women now. We formed this initial deal as a way to help end phase one of the conquering. And now that that's been 17, 18 years ago, we can restart the conquering
conquer it.
and let's roll.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens. But there's worse stuff that's going to happen.
I'm sure.
Obviously, Boudica and her daughters are like not thrilled by this.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They flog Boudica. Do you know
Ooh.
what flogging
Yeah,
is?
yes.
Tell them what flogging is.
There's a whip involved. Sometimes they're tied down. I think in Rome especially, it was like a 9-tailed whip, if in a lot of cases. But sometimes the ends of those tails would have like something sharp on them, and they would like usually either make you take your shirt off or not. But then they would flog your back.
So, Boudica is flogged by 2 Roman soldiers, and then plus 15 now for a reference of like violence. This is not going to be a graphic episode. This is maybe one of the worst things that we're going to say, but plus 15 if you don't want to say it. They also sexually assault her 2 daughters.
Oh,
That's obviously very bad.
yeah.
But I also want us to pause for a second and take on our history lens. Okay? This event will be what causes Boudica to be like, grab my gun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're a Roman historian, why would you include this detail in the history of Boudica?
We don't understand feminine rage unless there's a There's a reason for it?
Sure, but you could just simply say Queen Boudica demanded her nation's independence and went to war. Other people did that. Why did the Roman soldiers have to do this
Because they have to be
assault?
desirable.
They have to be desirable. We have to have a reason to need to conquer them.
Yeah.
And conquering them should be a big thing. But also what's super crucial here is a reader would read this and understand this is the action of soldiers, not the actions of the empire. The empire's conquest of this place becomes acceptable because the instigating event that causes this trauma isn't the
not
empire,
the empire. It's
but
these
an individual
shithead
actors.
soldiers that are doing this.
Correct. And also, sexual assault is a very, very common trope in these stories to basically let you know ahead of time that what this person's about to do is justifiable to that person, but also they are able to be dominated and thus not actually a threat. Do you see how that's complicated?
It's so fucking complicated because you're trying to separate yourself but also justify it, which inherently doesn't separate yourself.
In that story, you both make her daughters victims of a truly horrendous crime and rob them of agency.
Yeah, so then it's okay for some reason to dominate them?
They're not freedom fighters. This fight's happening because they're women. They're not mad about the empire. This fight's happening because these
victimized.
Women, they're victimized, 100%.
They're not fighting.
Isn't that such a fascinating way to think about history?
So they're literally these people aren't fighting. They've already been dominated, and so therefore it's okay and justifiable for us to go and take care of them.
Correct.
What the fuck?
Historian Tacitus writes this after this incident. The Roman army or troops or squad or soldiers or whatever march out of that town that Boudica and her two daughters are in.
Right.
Marches out of the town. Tacitus, the Roman historian writing 20, 30 years later, says this. Boudica says, quote, "Nothing is safe from Roman pride and arrogance. They will deface the sacred and will deflower our virgins. Win the battle or perish. That is what I, a woman, will do." So very cool, very female powered.
But then what's also the lens of the historian?
And also, because here's the thing about Tacitus, right? And even just 20, 30 years later.
Yeah.
There's almost no way that that's what she said.
No, he's paraphrasing or he got someone else to say, I think she said something like that.
He is at best paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Historians at this time, both Roman and Greeks, are storytellers. History is primarily storytelling. If you have anything that resembles science, it's certainly not in historical records.
No.
And so you will give characters monologues like this. You can go all the way back to Herodotus in ancient Greek times. You will give characters like this dialogue to help simplify to your audience the geopolitics at the time.
Yeah, to help humanize them and make a narrative, and that way it's not this person did this and then this and then this with no explanation.
Correct. But even in this sentence, you see a mention of the daughter's virginity.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that is what I, a woman, will do, which is ultimately saying this tribe is weak.
Yeah.
Because they were led by a woman.
And I'm either gonna what? Or perish? Or win or perish?
The line is, "Win the battle or perish. That is what I, a woman, will do."
That's nuts.
A line almost 100% written by a Roman male historian.
I'm obsessed. I'm gonna have to go back to the Olga of Kiev story now and
think about it through this
think
lens.
about it through the lens of who was writing. I mean, it was a very different situation, but also
I also want to say this kind of historical revision that's happening even just decades after a person's life is not exclusive to women. I'm only mentioning the gender lens because a big part of Boudica's legacy is she was this powerful warrior queen. But the famous line that we all know, what's the most famous thing Julius Caesar has ever said?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
E tu, Brute?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that line is made up from Shakespeare. Shakespeare writes E tu, Brute.
I love how much Shakespeare fucked with the rest of history.
100%. What Shakespeare is inspired from in Julius Caesar's line, we believe it is Julius Caesar as he is being assassinated. He is saying to Brutus, "And you, my child," and we don't know if that is Julius Caesar admitting before his death, "I am your father," which, by the way, is fucking Star Wars, or
Shut the fuck up.
I'm like blowing your mind right now. Or if because several senators all stabbed him, he turned to his close friend and said, "And you?
Yeah.
Is it now your turn to stab me? And you, child, what will you do as I die?" Or
If your friends jump off a bridge, will you jump off?
100%. Or, "And you are my child." But neither of them necessarily, of neither of those two interpretations.
And you, Brutus.
Right. And
Call out Brutus.
Right. And neither of them are you and you, Brutus. And neither of them, by the way, are also necessarily like, you, Brutus, have betrayed me.
And,
one
yeah.
is hurt, the other one's a confession, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, our understanding of, like, all history and, like, these incredible quotes, this is Sparta, all fucking fabricated, for the most part.
It's crazy. It was crazy for me to learn doing the Greek mythology episode that, like, the Battle of Troy, not real. That truly, in my head, I had never even thought of that as a possibility. And then to just find out, it's like, I mean, it could have, but I don't know.
Right.
Nuts.
Right.
What do you...
Because there's no one necessarily like writing down in the moment.
As it happens,
and then
yeah.
they said blah, blah, blah. So all you have is to recreate what people think they heard at the time, if
Yeah.
they were close enough or whatever. But then several events happen. And those events, obviously, we know from human psychology, shade what the brain then remembers as it
don't worry.
remakes meaning.
The Bible is accurate.
We're going to still get there. We are going to still get there. And I think that makes these stories even more interesting.
Yeah.
Both like, who is this fictional person
That's
that we are
actually
meeting?
it's actually driving me crazy. It might make me
Good.
like history a little less, but
I
like
was so
be
afraid
more interested.
I was going to have lost you during this, and I was going to be speed reading through some
The
of
way
this.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be making a fucking spreadsheet of who said what.
Mm-hmm.
I won't. I mean, I will with Patagonia, but
Because it also then like
Yeah.
it lends itself to like, well, what is the real history? Does that even really matter? I mean, we don't have the chance to go back.
No,
to
we have no
change
ability to
decision.
understand.
This is how those people wanted to remember this, and who are we to say? But also, let's not act like they don't have a bias.
yeah. And why would they want us to
Right.
think one way or the other?
Right. Had Boudica
Whoa.
accepted Roman rule and then passed away as simply the regional queen of a province thousands of miles away from Rome, she probably would have been remembered as an important woman in her community.
Right.
The former wife of the last king of her people.
Pillar of the community. Her smile lit up the whole room.
And
yeah,
she had 2 daughters.
that's not enough.
It's not enough. And is ironically actually maybe the truest thing I will say about Boudica this entire show. You know?
That's wow.
Last thing I'll say, and I think I also mentioned it elsewhere, but last thing I'll say too is like Roman control over your region, there are worse things.
Yeah.
Like, do you lose a certain degree of like regional independence? Yes.
Is there potential cultural and societal erasure? Sure.
But also, like, the Romans were actually really good at respecting local religious customs. The Roman pantheon of gods is actually referred to as the pantheon of gods because they just kept adding people as they conquered people. Because the Roman understanding of religion
Was
was
very different.
very different because it was geographically based. So they're not
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
change the gods of the British Isles. Their gods aren't from the British Isles. They
That's such a
they don't-
healthy understanding of religion.
And oftentimes, like, people like Boudica and her family are turned over from full-on kings to, like, the person that helps govern the community, especially...
And lives near them, theoretically? Yeah.
Especially in these early days when, like, Roman control and Roman influence of the empire really only manifests itself as the army. But then you have
Right.
like a temple, and then you have like a plaza, and then you have Roman goods are flowing because you have the protection to a degree of the Roman army. When those goods start flowing in, you start to have some local affluent elites who start to engage in Roman leisures, which are like bathhouses and wine. You can actually track the Romanization of some of these towns by tracking
Where the wine goes.
where the wine goes and where the beer stops. Romans weren't huge
Right, but
fans
beer's
of beer
a
drinking.
poverty meal, essentially.
Yeah, especially if what you're growing is the grains that would produce beer,
Beer,
as opposed to
yes.
the grapes, which are much more temperature control.
Yeah, way
that
harder.
that would produce wine.
Whoa.
And so ultimately, it's transformation that is largely going to happen whether or not the Roman army is there, because it already was. That's why the Roman army's there. And I want you to remember that as we get into the war crimes Boudica is about to commit.
Fuck yeah.
This chapter, only chapter I will actually probably give you the title of, Boudica Does War Crimes.
Support women's rights and their
and
wrongs.
their wrongs. Okay. I want to actually get some of these details right, so I'm going to adopt now the script a little bit. Boudica transformed her local, admittedly local grievance into a large-scale uprising that threatened Roman control of the entire British Isle.
Fuck yeah, bitch.
I'm not saying she wasn't justified if we even accept the full historical count of what happened. Like, I understand being like, people are going to have to die over what happened to me and my daughters. But I also want to point out that there are full-on provinces where what happened to Boudica and her daughters does not change the like daily arithmetic for those leaders.
People.
Right.
Is there a chance then, because of like the storytelling and the narrative, they wanted to believe that her daughters were not sexually assaulted and that was just an add-in to make it more understandable?
Honestly, I think by assaulting the daughters in the story, it then allows the historians to fold the daughters into the battle scenes that you're about to see. Because the daughters ride in with Boudica.
Okay.
And historically, like, there probably was a Boudica. I'm not trying to say this person is totally fictional or whatever.
No, but it's hard to track their day-to-day
Right.
movements.
And her daughters might have been involved in it. And all of this could very well be truer than I have let us lend so far. It's kind of hard for us to piece together when the primary sources are definitely not neutral on the topic.
Right.
But something I would encourage you to think about a little bit is a society that views women as subservient, by and large, now having to fight a warrior queen and her two warrior princesses screams exotic to the Roman reader of history. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as someone who presents as ethnically ambiguous, exotic is a word I hear.
Yeah. And you see it now in this story. Mm-hmm. And also Game of Thrones.
Yeah, big time Game of Thrones.
And how were those people represented? As exotic Arabs in a region otherwise in England.
For some reason, there's like dragon eggs and people wear weird shit.
But Dorne, the nation led by a warrior queen and her warrior daughters, and Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal is the gayest male character outside of the actual homosexuals who all suffer terrible fates. George R. R. Martin, you're not forgiven. But the region that's largely ran by women and women warriors and daughter warriors are also the most extravagant and the most exotic.
It's true, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
God, I fucking hated you.
At the beginning of the campaign, Boudica gathered support from multiple tribes, most notably the Iceni and the Trinovantes. The Trinovantes had their own grievances against Roman rule, particularly concerning land confiscations and the presence of Rome colonists at the city of Camulundrum. Boudica appears to have positioned herself as a leader of a broader anti-Roman movement rather than simply the ruler of a single tribe. And that wouldn't necessarily be a surprise. And also, if these tribes had less interaction with Rome, as we can probably believe because there's like the English Channel and stuff, warrior women were not unusual on the outskirts of the Roman Empire.
You needed them, yeah.
Yeah, like the people who fought on the Asian steppes, like the Scythians, for example. There's a very famous Roman queen who pretended to have a peace treaty with a Roman general or a Greek general, I forget which one, cuts his head off, and then the next day at battle was like, here's your guy's head, and then she murders everyone else.
Incredible.
And, no, for reals, yes. And so like the fact that she was a leader of these like warriors might not have been unusual to the British soldiers and might, you know, could be 101% true. But she presents herself as the like leader of this anti-Roman movement. She targets Camulundum, the kind of instigating colony in the British Isle. The city was a symbol of Roman authority and contained a temple dedicated to the Emperor Claudius. The rebels attacked and destroyed the settlement. Contemporary accounts suggest that Roman residents were overwhelmed before significant military assistance could arrive. A release force of the Roman army was dispatched and was defeated. There are varying accounts of how many soldiers Boudica had. And numbers in the ancient world are so hard
yeah.
to predict, but it could have been 200,000 people.
Jesus Christ.
Now, granted, is that 200,000 warriors or 200,000 people marching because you're going to have women and
like
children?
Including all of the
camp
cooks
followers.
and stuff. Yeah.
Following that, she moves on to the town of Verulirium and then also Londinium. At this point, there are survivors running out of... oh gosh, I'm so tired of these Roman names because there's like 8 syllables. Camalundum. There are survivors running to Londinium, and they're like, this person's gonna come kill us all.
Yeah.
The Roman governor of the province is like, everyone who can get on the boat, we're leaving. Woo! Unless, of course, you are too old, in which case,
goodbye.
Bye. Meanwhile, the army's like, fall back south of Londinium, like, give up the city, we're gonna regroup, and then we're gonna attack, and we're gonna take care of all of this, okay? Oh. And so Boudica comes in, and she fucking deletes Londinium.
Holy fuck.
Burns it down so much that there are layers of ash and burnt pottery in the archaeological history of London.
Jesus.
And we just don't have fires like that anymore.
Kind of a beautiful level of arson.
Would look so pretty on fire.
Awful.
You're not having fires that rage for weeks as a city's entire infrastructure collapses so incredibly much that then it like rains and hardens into a new soil that you then build on top of.
And find thousands of years later.
Anymore.
Yes. We can always try.
And so, you know, in the attack of these like 3 towns, Boudica maybe potentially kills 80,000 people.
I just get so crazy.
I just get so upset.
I just get so... Oh.
One story where perhaps while they were living, plus probably 60 seconds for this one. This is the most graphic part of tonight's episode, maybe plus 60 seconds. In an attack on one of these Roman towns, Boudica's soldiers seize the Roman women and cut off their boobs and sew them into their mouths to make the Romans eat their own flesh as they bleed to death. Yeah, so pretty tough. But her and Margaret Thatcher have a lot in common.
Why the fuck would you say that?
Not casting Boudica as the villain, certainly not casting Margaret Thatcher as the hero. Just, again, going back to one of those original questions of like, how complicated is it when we adopt like a simple narrative for a complex woman who's even more complex when you add all the history writing, like historical fiction?
Well, no, actually, Boudica, awful. Wait, so is that what the Romans did or what her people did?
Her people did that to Roman women who were in these towns that they had settled.
That's tough.
Okay. But then let's pause again for a second.
Jesus Christ.
Because who does that serve?
The Romans.
Right.
Saying
Writing
she's so
20
violent.
to 100 years later, right?
Yeah.
Which is extra interesting too, because we would view that.
That makes the historians fucking psychopaths. Someone needs to lock these assholes up.
Or does it reaffirm that these people are barbarians now in desperate need of Roman conquering and colonization?
Well, it's either
Before we arrived, they were doing shit like that.
It's either like they're so evil we have to stop them, or they're barbarians and we need to domesticate them.
Which is also, here's actually an even crazier thing. A third version of that. That's just a regular thing armies do.
Well, why wouldn't we?
Why is the cross the symbol of Christianity?
Because he dies on it.
Okay. How does he die on it?
He is crucified on it, like murdered?
Right. Do you know the actual like dying process of crucifixion?
I feel like I've learned about it, but no.
If I remember correctly, either if you're not dying of like exposure,
they do just start stabbing you, right?
For sure, if you're not fast enough, but also like all the bleeding that's happening from the things that they like nailed into you could fill your lungs up with blood and you could drown.
I would prefer that,
right?
Honestly,
it's crucifixion is a horrific death, because it's incredibly painful and also not fast.
Yes.
Sorry, plus 60 seconds again.
Jesus.
The historical writers write that the cruel irony of crucifixion
Yeah.
is that if you try to position yourself into a more comfortable position,
It'll take longer to die.
you are pushing down on feet that are nailed into place and is excruciating, or you are pulling up on things, which means you can then just kind of hang, which then actually puts more of your weight onto those nails.
Does it like extend how long you're suffering
before
you die, or just there's just a lot of pain?
Actively trying to find a way that's less painful, and it's
still
all painful.
Yeah.
So a third version of this is the Roman historians just being like, and then they were like violent, as we all are, But
as one does.
But they were violent in a different and unacceptable way.
Like, not really, but okay.
The Romans are like, God, when we conquer places, we just capture all the women and children and sell them into slavery. Yeah. And that's a huge percentage of the Italian population right now. They, on the other hand, deface their body, which is horrifying, and also is to kind of make sure that we don't feel like she is justified.
Yeah, we don't have to feel badly about this conquering.
Right. She might have done that.
Sure.
And it might have absolutely terrified the Romans. If you are Boudica and you were like, get out and stay out, you might do some horrifying shit like that. You know
what I mean? In my head,
it
was one of the daughters that like really kind of went nuts. And she only actually did it to like 2 people, but that narrative really spread. And Boudica's like, Jenny, you gotta stop. We talked about this.
Right.
And like, I get that you're attracted to women, but that doesn't mean that we need to be doing this.
Right. And it means also it like closes the loop on the sexual violence of this specifically.
Yeah.
It started, but then it ended.
With a
Right. Like a tit for tat situation. That was not the right word.
God, Grant.
It's not written down. I didn't write it and then think it was going to be funny, but
a tit for tat situation was absolutely vile.
To all ladies who got their tits out during that story, I'm sorry. Tat.
Yeah. Good fucking God.
Roman writers, especially Tacitus and Cassius Dio. Great, amazing. There's Dio and then there's Dido, which is a different person, Roman woman from earlier in the story. Cassius Dio, who's the historian.
The other historian?
The one who wrote like 100 years.
Okay, so not dildo.
No, but Dio, and there's also a Dido. And this is Cassius Dio.
Great.
Tat.
So I'm just going to remember Cassius, if that's all right.
Tacitus and Cassius Dio describe rebels killing large number of civilians in captured settlements, including women, children, and the elderly. People that would have been left behind because they couldn't evacuate.
Oh, right.
There are also reports of acts of torture and ritualized killing. They estimate tens of thousands of deaths across the destroyed towns. Mm. Historians treat such figures cautiously because Roman authors often exaggerated enemy brutality. In fact, they're probably exaggerating every part of this.
Yes, almost, yeah.
Particularly when describing rebellions against Rome. However, archaeological evidence confirms widespread destruction at these places. Even allowing for exaggeration, many scholars conclude that Boudica's focus probably carried out large-scale massacres of Roman settlers and other occupiers associated with the Roman Empire, which is really tough and really bad.
Yeah.
And if you are cheering for the Romans, a deep tragedy. If you are cheering for the locals who have lived in peace and are now the victims of a military conquest and are watching lands they had originally been the caretakers of be taken away, and the economy of these regions shifting away from what they have always known forever into a new field where they do not have the advantage.
Right.
Because they are not Roman settlers who had the resources and capital to move and settle, but are instead outsiders.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It is, especially in an era where violence is so much more common.
Yeah. It's hard to understand it and conceptualize it as they would have.
Right. I'm going to skip that paragraph. Some of the stuff we've now definitely covered. So Boudica takes these 3 large towns. Obviously, there's smaller settlements and villages too. And that means you've largely in a Colorado sense, you've taken Fort Collins, Boulder, and Denver. You
got all the good parts.
You
stop.
Well, we're what, regrouping in Castle Rock?
No, not worth it. The strip mall can stay there.
I want you to know,
the outlet mall,
from a Roman POV, that's what they are doing.
They are regrouping. Just saying,
they are regrouping in Castle Rock, where there is hopefully better geographic advantages given to them, but they've destroyed most of the visual cues of Roman control of Britain. They've already beaten a Roman general once, 80, 90 years earlier, with Julius Caesar.
Right.
They do believe they can drive the Romans out again. There was more Romans, it took more violence, but they do believe that they can pull it again. Boudica appears one victory away from all of this. Obviously, she's not going to win. Like that, we know our history.
Yeah.
The Romans are writing about her.
I do think I may have known about her if she did.
They're like, and that pretty cool lady still rules Britain today. No, that is not what Tacitus
You
is about to
wouldn't
land us with.
believe what Queen Elizabeth looked like when she took off her hat.
Does anyone wear a hat these days?
Should wear a hat.
I wrote so much about this battle, and I right now am not interested in talking to you about it.
That's fine.
The British had chariots.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That they are standing on and throwing
Don't
shit
the
off
Romans
of.
also notoriously have chariots?
Roman cavalry is actually kind of notoriously just fine. Like the Roman cavalry is almost more or less like scouting and postage.
Who had the chariots then?
The Egyptians. And then also like there's versions of Persians. You're probably thinking of like Alexander the Great.
And also in the
the
steppes, I think they had something.
Here's your shotgun version of this history.
Incredible.
Boudica has way more soldiers, but the Romans have trained soldiers and a military professional. The British are famous for their chariots where they circle the enemy and launch bullets.
I did not know that was the British.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's
bullets.
Like huge javelins, but also like slingers with rocks that would,
I was like, I didn't.
No, they're not like Mad Maxing it on the back of
I was like, no, I understand history well enough to know that there weren't guns in the era of Jesus Christ.
Call up Quentin Tarantino, you know?
I mean, he could make it happen.
I want you to know that there's like a whole subreddit conversation about like, what do historical battles look like if like it's five guys with machine guns? Like what is
wins?
Like what is Alexander the Great's best army versus like one division of a modern American army? You know, like, and there's a whole whatever. One
of my favorite comedy sketches is this guy who's talking about how the Second Amendment in the United States is like we have the right to bear arms against like a tyrannical government or something, and he's like, our government has drones,
right.
Like, and honestly I would just like to kind of put a bunch of these people in an arena at a fight to the death, and it's all of them with their like AR-15s and then one guy with a remote controller in a back room, and it's just like, you want me to, okay, we're starting, they're dead. Well,
literally yes. They said no to the negotiations. Final round of negotiations failed. Well, I hate to do this. It's done.
No.
Do you want to go to Chicken Salad Chick? They have it's Wednesday.
Chicken Salad Chick.
You know, out there in this country today, there are people who this government has asked to commit approaching or maybe past the line of war crimes.
Yes.
Who then were like, Burger King has a 444 right now. And
they're munching on Taco Bell as they're
It's funny because of how dystopian it is. It's not funny because like U.S. military hegemony. Just so we all understand that.
Yes.
So Roman military general picks a place where they're like, you basically got to come right at us. There's woods behind us. There's kind of like some geographic features to either side. Mm-hmm. We have intentionally put ourselves in a box so that way it's like our best 10 versus your best 10, you know?
Yeah.
But in the case of like an organized Roman Empire versus a group of villagers and ranchers and foragers and sailors, right? Like that is the matchup a Roman general wants. Especially
March Madness was crazy back then.
Coming to you live with an upset.
That's literally all I'm hearing right now. It's sports talk.
Boudica's army fails. There's like 200,000 people, like I said. Part of the issue, according to historians, is that as this troop flees, as these soldiers flee, they are slowed down by the fact that their women and children and cook folk are behind them, like set up, kind of watching. That slows their retreat, and the Romans are able to capture them. And it's
so because
like
they actually cared
massacre.
about everyone in their party, unlike the Romans who were like, the elderly can't get on a boat, deuces, have fun.
Right.
And then this party.
So then ask yourself, why would a Roman historian include that?
Oh my God.
Because it snuffs out the rebellion. It ends the scary story with, and don't worry.
All of them
was
are dead.
Basically. That was the best punch. It was everything they had. And we took care of it.
Jeez. Jesus Christ.
Isn't that interesting? And this is just one way to interpret it. Obviously, I can't speak for the motivations of a fucking Roman historian writing for God knows who at God knows exactly what time, using who knows what primary sources. This historian might have just been the first guy to write this down. Here's something that's actually even more interesting. This guy Tacitus might have just copied someone else's history, and we lost that version.
History.
And maybe in that copying, he left out the parts he didn't like.
Maybe he was translating from a different language.
Yeah, legitimately.
Wow.
Again, there's evidence of a great destruction.
Yeah.
There's other ways than just some random guy writing potentially historical fanfic.
Archaeological, whatever.
But when we as humans look for a narrative, we're not the first ones to look for a narrative in the story. Boudica flees. She does not die in the battle. Tacitus says she poisons herself shortly afterwards, following the long line of Roman women or women who had to interact with Rome, who
powerful women
extend themselves, but because of their femininity, the Romans don't kill them.
Just can't take it.
I have failed as I'm a woman in an attempt to overthrow Rome. I must now take my own life because
I hate it here.
These women are so beyond understanding, mythical. It's good that we killed all of their male soldiers, but that final death, that tragic death of a woman cannot come at the hands of a Roman, especially a Roman man.
They don't know how to justify it or criminalize themselves.
That's not a good look. What the Empire's final win is the killing of this hot, mysterious, commanding, inspiring woman. It's much better for us to have defeated her fully and for her to do it herself out of shame. Yeah. Out of shame.
We can't risk her having power.
One creates a martyr.
Yeah.
The second one creates a convenient end to the chapter. And with her, the British independence she inspired dies. Cassius Dio says later that she dies of an illness. So he's the historian that writes later, says she dies of an illness, not necessarily suicide.
Bitch, how do you know?
Right. Again, it's very interesting. I would actually say that's for Boudica. If you're a Boudica fan of this,
way more sense.
It's actually such a worse version, though.
Oh yeah,
because you still get all those benefits of the Roman Empire, right? You still get we defeated her, we crushed her, but we didn't kill her.
Yeah,
something else did. You still get that scapegoat there at the 11th hour, but you don't even get the honor and pride and whatever else of I'm going out on my own way and I did it
it's
my
worse for her.
way.
Yeah.
Right? It's and then all of this and then. She actually ended up being pretty insignificant. She just ended up dying of illness. And that's how it ended. Well, good night, kiddos. I'll wake you early for the chariot races in the morning.
Promise?
Tuck up your tunic, things like that. A crazy story.
It's bananas. It's so much more complex, understanding that the historians are not net neutral in any of the stories that they tell, despite the fact that that's how we view historians.
Right.
Because we view historians through this lens of, they have the moral, need to kind of ensure what they are studying is accurate or makes sense in the context of time.
Right.
And there are other historians that are then there to academically peer review them and everything like that. But back then it was there's two guys that write sometimes. And I don't know. He said that that's what happened.
I love that because one of the last things I want us to reflect on in this story is what we learn from Rebels. And for this, I'm going to turn back to what I wrote to make sure I capture everything. Mm-hmm. When you look at famous rebellions, can you name one or two off the top of your head right now?
The John Brown.
Okay.
Oh God, you want me more?
No, it's okay.
More? Okay.
See, the thing about what we can learn from Rebels is that it's wealthy people who get to lead rebellions. They have status that protects them, money and resources to ride out any economic turmoil that might be caused by the rebellion. And many of them are hoping to use the rebellion to either preserve their own political power, like in the case of Boudica, or to further advance their own political power. Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were essentially aristocrats that wanted to rule the colonies, soon to be the United States, themselves. There is more complexity to the situation than that, right? Our founding fathers, our American revolutionary heroes, obviously. But if you look at truly successful rebellions, they have a leader with a grand social status and a dream of a better world. And it's just actually really convenient that that dream involves me being the leader of a country at the end of it.
Yeah, well.
This wasn't intentional, but I am realizing that this is probably my last episode before America's 250th birthday, and I am really grateful for how that has timed out.
And I'm proud to be except not right now.
Except really hard to be proud of our country right now.
Have you seen all the interviews with Vanilla Ice?
No.
So,
I have done kind of like an advanced placement unpacking of both the history of a complicated woman, our misuse of her legacy today, and the forging of that legacy through like a Roman motivated historical lens of two different historians writing decades apart from each other. And now I'm bringing it all together into a different domain of the American Revolution. And you're like, have you been following the Vanilla Ice? I get 24 hours in a day too. How many hours do you think I get?
I have been fighting tooth and nail against my ADHD this entire goddamn episode. And I will not apologize.
It's gone really well. Like, it's been a good episode.
America's 250th, there's like a whole concert and everything, and they like invited a bunch of people to perform, and then I guess they were under the impression it was going to be like a nonpartisan thing, and once they found out it was going to be a partisan thing, like most of them backed out.
Right.
The one who didn't back out is fucking Vanilla Ice.
Naturally.
And the other day I was just like watching CNN while I was eating lunch, and he was interviewed by one of the like pundits, and they were like, so why are you staying in? And he was like, I don't know, man. I just kind of think we should all like celebrate America. Like, I really love this. And like, do you remember in the 90s when like things were like way more chill and we could just like vibe out to music? And I really the man said he wanted to go back to the 90s at least 6 times in the span of 5 minutes.
Oh, where he was popular and not broke?
Yeah.
I wish we had more space for, I need this check. Please stop asking me this question.
I was like, my dude, I don't know that anyone wants to go back to the 90s as much as you.
It's almost always public record in literally every state. Please, someone, A, find out Vanilla Ice's legal name, and B, if they have voted.
No, he literally said,
if.
He said one of the first things on the interview was, I don't vote. I don't care about that stuff.
And neither does 34% of other Americans.
Yep, so,
do you know who else isn't going to vote? The soldiers who fought in the American Revolution.
Gotcha. I was going to say Boudica.
God damn it, Mitch. I love you so much. Your eyes, it was like my story was an oncoming SUV full of children who are about to understand the world fundamentally differently as it runs you over.
You asked a question I was so ready to answer, and then you said the American Revolution. I said,
I once ran over a family of raccoons, but only one of them. And that, because I tried to not hit any of them, for the record.
Am I talking to a fucking criminal?
That really changed things for me.
Am I that one raccoon? I'm never not going to escape the raccoon allegation.
It doesn't matter if you are or are not the raccoon that does or does not die. What matters is your presence on the road created a memory that will change our lives forever.
My look of terror right before I said
There's
Boudica.
no way they're following us. Speaking of voting.
Yes.
The leaders of the American Revolution,
right.
Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Adams,
yes.
all come from affluential positions,
right.
lead the American Revolutionary Army, create this brand new democracy, and create a brand new democracy where none of those soldiers have the right to vote.
Fun.
Like the population that died to create those voting rights are not granted them the vote.
Because they're dead or because of their families were not given the right
landowning white men.
Gotcha.
And if you are a U.S. soldier in the Revolutionary War, you're not
tough
that.
Luck. Yeah.
I mean, obviously some are, but most aren't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Boudica's soldiers, in many ways, kind of experience the same thing. Boudica is viewed as this like liberty, freedom fighter for the liberty and freedom of Britain. None of her troops were going to then be asked once the battle's done, okay, who do we think should lead?
No.
Should we change our relationship with power and authority?
Yeah.
They were fighting a distant emperor for a more local monarchy. Which is also really interesting because it gets us to this last little bit, which is that Boudica, for some of the British, represents independence and anti-colonialism.
What the fuck?
And what's really funny is that anything or anyone could represent anti-colonialism to the British.
But we won't give that back to Egypt. That's ours now. I did not even put that together. It's Spider-Man pointing at himself in a fucking mirror.
Boudica could hardly have imagined her story to last for millennia, nor would she have recognized herself as the harbinger of the British Empire, a figure of nationalism, a symbol for suffragettes, or a supporter of Brexit. British queens and female politicians have adopted her warrior identity. Elizabeth I was compared to the outspoken warrior Queen Boudica, and Queen Victoria embraced Boudica as a precursor, a Celtic Victoria. In the 20th century, Margaret Thatcher was known as a political battle axe, a Boudica in pearls. More recently, Theresa May has become the Brexit Boudica. Boudica's response to the Romans is recast as removal from the EU, her defeat overlooked by the Brexit supporters themselves.
I am appalled by, I mean, like, I get it if, like, you grow up finding out, because, like, thinking about our understanding of, like, Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea and, like, those, in our minds, not ancient, but, like, older, like, almost folklore tales to us.
Right.
Are so vastly different than, like, the reality of what happened to those people. I can understand how it becomes like this folk character. But hearing what she actually fucking did, and someone's like, no, I'm Boudica. No, I'm Boudica. No, but she's Boudica, but she's wearing jewelry. And it's like, bitch, what the fuck?
Imagine being in 1947, a year in which some of my aunts were already alive, and being like, you, Indian subcontinent, must be colonized by us, because 2,000 years ago, a woman sewed some tits into some Romans' mouths, lost immediately, but proved we were supposed to be independent.
She's our symbol of anti-colonialism.
Right. If only the Indians had their own symbols of anti-colonialism, then they too could be free.
They might have a more compelling one, that's for sure.
Which is fantastic because it does mean under this historical framework, Boudica and Mahatma Gandhi exist in the same space.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
And that's why you get a degree in history.
And one day you'll do an episode on that, I'm sure.
Sure.
I know the bare minimum of that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's really exciting.
I think I learned about it maybe in AP World, but then my current understanding is the history of the world, I guess, where they can't get the name right.
It's going to be the opposite of the cheese episode where I provide you with no food to represent his hunger strikes.
Hey, let's not.
Why? Because you just like to do that to yourself? What did you do today?
Yeah, I mean, I need someone to feed me, and Casey hasn't been around, and I don't know how to take care of myself. I'm just a baby.
I'm going to hit us with this last little bit.
Okay.
We're going to take a break.
Excellent.
And then we're going to do Patreon.
Excellent.
Sound good to you? Okay, amazing.
The plan that we have literally every fucking night we record.
Just kind of felt like I needed to remind you. For a person who stopped speaking at random intervals yesterday, the exact opposite problem today is so fun.
My brain would not function last night, and now it's like working in overdrive.
Boudica's story might be incredibly self-serving for the Roman historians who would write about her later after her death. Let's address those motivations for creating a glorious story that has the hero fighting against these historians' own empire. Mm-hmm. First, it instills a quality in these newly conquered people that makes them a benefit to have in the empire. Look at how fierce these warriors were. Second, it adds to the glory of Rome that a land that was so easily conquered still had so much fighting spirit and almost forced the British out. Third,
If there was just one more tit.
Right, exactly. One more final blow.
Yeah.
It also justifies continued expansion. These people can't continue to be allowed to be independent. We grabbed what we wanted in Britain, and then they attacked, and we had to then change this.
We had to.
Finally, it reaffirms their empire's owned gender stereotypes, that these women essentially flew off the handle, became incredibly violent, and then lost almost immediately.
I love the dissection of like the male gaze versus the female gaze and its analysis and understanding of feminine rage, because it's always, without fail, from the male gaze, just calm until you're fucking not, just like a switch.
Right.
And from the feminine gaze, or like for the feminine gaze, you always see exactly what moment triggered it, and you watch every moment up until the blow up, if there is a blow up, you know? And it's great to see that in historical writing.
Well, and male historical figures cast in the same role as Boudica are benevolent, altruistic. They usually experience some kind of personal loss. Like, think of Mel Brooks in The Patriot, whose little boy dies, and that's why he has to fight the British. It's this like personal, altruistic, I'm a better man than all of this, and the nation we should be is literally embodied in my white male characteristics, while women are beset by revenge, must be out of control violent, that will lead to initial success, but ultimately corrupts their mission, because you do not want to found a nation on that being a woman, but that also being a placeholder for the things we consider womanly.
Right. I hate it here.
So anyways, I've been really enjoying my history classes. I feel like I'm 3 days in, and it's like lighting me up in a way that has been really fun to
I've been enjoying it.
And good. Well, I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they never listen to the end. Like, these kind of people never listen to the end.
Certain people do.
But I'm sure I got some of those facts wrong. I'm sure I raised questions that are actually answered in other source material. In casting doubt on Tacitus or
Dildo.
Thank you.
Yep.
Cassius Dio. I was like, there's not an L, so how do I say it without the L? Cassius Dio, that like I have besmirched or like begrudged the reputation of like valid historical Roman writing. Maybe history can't hurt us anymore, but we can. And I think these questions are as important to ask about the historical stories we tell ourselves as they are the stories, narratives, and news events that we comprehend every single day.
I like the way that you presented the story.
Thank you.
I feel like it was very like narrative while also being educational, instead of, I have a tendency to just categorize things and then present them like that.
Now think about how a Roman historian might be motivated to...
They're like, she can't understand things unless it's in a category. We must conquer her.
Here's something really fun. You learned about divorce in the Roman world, you know?
True.
And the degree of gender equality, SPQR, Mary Beard's book is where a lot of that information came from. If you want to fact check me, it's in the final third. Please feel free. Like, I'm not trying to be like, come for me. Like,
if you can't tell, Grant has been questioned a couple of times in our email, and it's always gone really well for us.
It is okay. I usually don't respond at all, but I do have times.
Yeah, sometimes we get angry about it together.
I have personal thoughts, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know. But we didn't touch any of the places that we usually get comments on, so.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Like each other.
They're like, this is a family-friendly podcast.
There are kids in the backseat being like, Mom, why do you listen to these people? Or for some of you, Dad.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. If you would like to continue to join us on Patreon for extra stories. Join us on social media to see clips of the show. If you have a wild woman in your life, this is episode 1 of Wild Women. Title, TBD. I've been thinking a Roman holiday, but that feels bad.
That's Saturnalia, so no.
That's who?
Don't worry about it.
Great. I only know it as a phrase, like nothing more. Anyways, write in with stories of wild women or checkmate. Very excited about my checkmate story.
Can we
by the
do
way.
tit for tat?
Oh my God, yes. but also yikes, but also yes,
was a bad
because there is a big
tit for tat.
yeah. There's really sits well.
It's a tit for tat.
Anyway, so write into wellilaughdpod@gmail.com or wellilaughed.com if you have stories about wild women or checkmate or petty crime or truly embarrassing dating stories. Those are our
We're
favorite.
really collecting a favorite genre.
Yeah, 100%. And this is so sub niche, like it probably doesn't even have like a subreddit. But if you have found yourself by your own good intentions trapped in a social situation that you cannot escape, please write in.
Casey has one.
Please write in.
I've been
Every day of his life.
Well, yeah, but 5 hours of his day were sequestered by one man today.
Nice.
He hated it. I was like, how have you not
Today?
dealt with this? Yeah.
Yikes.
I know. Anyway.
Lastly, if you'd like a cameo for the 4th of July, write in. And if you would like a historically accurate cameo of the 4th of July, write for Grant into cameo. I mean, you can also give your thoughts on the 4th of July.
No,
if you would
I don't
like.
actually. If you ask for the 4th of July, I'm saying hi and putting the phone down in front of Grant while I leave.
Amazing.
Anyway,
All right.
goodbye, love you.
Bye, friends.